Welcome, everybody, to a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video today. And this week sees Bond, James Bond, back in action to finish what he started in No Time to Die, hitting store shelves, along with seeing the early years of Tony Soprano in The Many Saints of Newark. And Scream Factory is releasing a collector's edition release of the 1970 cult classic The Vampire Lovers, plus much more. So let's go see the deals, exclusives, and we are at our first location, Walmart. So let's go in and see what they got. All right, everybody, we are in at Walmart, and well, I can't say that they have all the physical media love this week, but at least they have Bond, James Bond, baby. And I'll take all that glorious Bond love. Indeed they do. They have the Blu-ray DVD digital of No Time to Die for $24.96. The 2-disc collector's edition DVD for $19.96. They don't have any No Time to Die 4K love, unfortunately. However, I think they made up for it with a little bit of exclusive Walmart love. Yes, indeed. The Blu-ray DVD digital for $29.96. Look at this. This thing is sizable, man. Wow. It comes with an exclusive saffron mask keychain. That's really cool, man. It's sort of the mask that the bad guy wears in the movie. It's honestly pretty cool. Like, I don't really go for these type of gimmicks usually, but that's pretty sweet as a keychain. I'm not gonna lie. That would be pretty cool, man. Nice. Bond is back with a vengeance. You're damn right, baby. So, I got a chance to watch this in the movie theaters with John. I watched it because, yes, I am a Bond fan. I'm not a hardcore Bond lover, to be fair, but I do love my James Bond, and I especially love Daniel Craig as James Bond. I think his run, for the most part, has been pretty solid. Yes, there has been some bumps in the road, but overall, I really dug him as Bond. And this movie got delayed so many goddamn times, man. Holy shit. I mean, I remember when this movie was gonna come out, I think like March or April of 2020, and it was like January or so of that year, and there was so much promotion for the film going on. Like, the music video for the theme song was out, and they were doing, like, you know, the trailers and all the promotional material, and it was just so much going on, and it's like, oh yeah, baby, Bond is coming, and we were so excited. And then the coronavirus happened. Oh, Jesus. And literally every film pretty much got delayed, including Bond, and we're like, okay, it got pushed to the fall. Clearly it's going to come out in the fall. Hey, we'll still get our Bond love. It's just a little bit delayed. And then that changed really fucking quickly. Oh, man. It got delayed then, and I think it got delayed like 1 or 2 more times after that. And after a while, I kept thinking to myself, oh, this movie doesn't exist, man. Like, this movie was never made. It was just promotional stuff that they were filming, and man, this movie is just never going to see the light of day at all. It probably was never even made. A huge, gigantic joke on all of us. But thankfully for me, thankfully for you, James Bond was back eventually. Coronavirus be damned, because it was finally going to see the light of day for all of us Bond lovers to embrace. And indeed, we did. It made a decent chunk of money. People really wanted to see the last Daniel Craig adventure, but did it actually pull off a great Bond ending for Mr. Craig? So the last film ended where he met this girl, he really loved her, he wanted to settle down with her and leave the whole Bond act, spy game, gone. He wanted to leave it to the curbside for her, and he did. It was a happy ending. If you remember Spectre, it ended in a really great sort of, oh, happily ever after moment. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is James Bond. They never really get a happy ending. And so, especially for Daniel Craig, I'm thinking to myself, okay, you know something's gonna go sideways at some goddamn point. And here is No Time to Die to put all the disappointment back in James Bond's hands. Yes, all that good, sweet life, the retirement life, yeah, that's for suckers. It's not for Bond, baby, not at all. And so secrets are revealed, bad guys are on the move, and Bond has to come back to his roots. Oh, indeed he does, man. I gotta admit, I went into this movie, a part of me was really hyped for it, and another part of me was kind of scared. I'm not gonna lie, because I really didn't like Spectre, man. I mean, I thought Spectre was kind of dull. It had its moments, some good action scenes, but it really didn't impress me. I thought it was sort of the worst of the Daniel Craig movies. And I'm like, oh, dude, they really did him dirty in that. And I'm like, they really have to redeem him in a big, bad way in No Time to Die. I really wanted that. And so I was very scared, but hopeful that they were going to pull it off. And for the most part, I have to admit, they really did, man. I mean, Craig here is intense. He's incredibly emotional. You could tell that he really wanted to ace this for his final time playing James Bond, and he really did, man. He did a phenomenal job here. All of the actors involved, they are really great. They're a really great supporting cast around him and really makes this movie what it truly is. Everybody really supports James Bond and supports the journey of the character and the whole adventure of trying to find out the answers to the secrets that he really, really desperately needs to find out and understand. It's a solid film that really puts James Bond into context, especially Daniel Craig's Bond. It puts that character into more of an understanding. You get to get a lot of closure with this Bond and certain journeys with certain characters, like obviously Felix Leiter comes back, and certain plot lines and certain information that really sheds new light on what James Bond has been dealing with for many, many, many years. The idea of Spectre ends up getting resolved, the idea of Blofeld, I mean, everything is really wrapped up in one way or another. Sometimes to satisfying moments, other times to a little bit of a disappointment here and there. I mean, I appreciated what they were trying to do with this movie, and I think for the most part they absolutely succeeded. I mean, the action here is absolutely phenomenal, man. I mean, for a James Bond movie, the action is key. It's one of the things that we come to see a Bond movie for, and it absolutely delivers. Daniel Craig is giving it his all in the best way he possibly can. I mean, he's battered, he's bruised, he's had injuries up the ass, but he is really trying his hardest to make this a gritty Bond movie, and he truly succeeds, man. I think the direction is really fantastic here as well. I think the drama really holds weight, and I love the character moments where Bond is interacting with these people, man. It's intense, it's heartfelt, it's desperate at times, and it's thrilling in other moments as well. So it really is fantastic in that way. So there's a lot to really like in this Bond movie, but then again, there is moments that don't exactly do it any favors either. I mean, the movie is a very long film, and at moments it does tend to drag out a bit. I also have to admit, the first hour or even more of this film is basically trying to tie up as many loose ends as possible. The whole Spectre angle with the villains and all of that convoluted, complicated mess that we got ourselves into with Spectre, they really go out of their way to try to, like, okay, we're going to go out of our way to really kill all of these people, man, and try to clean up the mess that we made over the last few films. And they do that, but I think it's to the film's detriment in a lot of ways, unfortunately, that they had to do a lot of cleanup of other films in order to end up moving forward with saying goodbye to Bond. I mean, the goodbye stuff is really good, but having to clean up the convoluted mess stuff, unfortunately, didn't really help matters with this film. It felt like we have to tie up all the loose ends and clean up all of the crazy, wild, ridiculous mess that the other films had, and in order to do that, we have to waste time to make that happen. Unfortunately, it still works, but not as satisfying as I would have hoped it would. Also, the villain here, as much as I love Rami Malek, and I really do, I think he's phenomenal in this film, really terrifying, has some really great villain-esque speeches. He loves to speechify, that motherfucker. He does a good job, but I feel like that villain is kind of underutilized. It almost felt like he needed more screen time, it needed more intensity, more of an understanding of the villain, and truly become a terrifying villain in the vein of like Skyfall or Casino Royale. That villain had so much potential, but I feel like they kind of underwhelmed in that department. The villain has kind of a complicated past with Spectre, and he's taking out Spectre, and in turn he has a history with Bond, but Bond doesn't really know it, and it's through the love of his life, and the love of his life has kept secrets, and it does get complicated and convoluted, and it's a long time to just basically clean up the mess of the other movies and try to over-explain stuff in order to finally settle everything and put everything to rest. Again, some of it works, some of it doesn't. The villain kind of loses out in that way as well. Also, the chemistry between him and his love interest, I kind of felt it a little bit more in this film than in Spectre, but honestly, the relationship that he had with Vesper in Casino Royale is so much more intense and so much more believable to me than this relationship was. I never really felt the love angle as much as I wanted it to, and it kind of turned me a little bit sour to that part of the movie. I understand why they had to do it, and there's a reason why, for legacy purposes, but I didn't think 100% pulled it off. They did better than Spectre, but still it is kind of lacking in some ways. But with that being said, I think it's a really great end to Daniel Craig's run. I think that it's a really great send-off for that character, and they do something with Bond in this film that I don't think they've ever done with any other Bond character in the other movies. I don't think they've ever really went to an ending with this Bond where they've ever went before, which I definitely did appreciate. Though there's a lot of unique things in this movie, I think Daniel Craig definitely hits it out of the park. It's action-packed. It's also got some really wonderful, great moments as the final James Bond film for Daniel Craig. A really great sort of way to say goodbye. But unfortunately, it is hampered by a lot of cleanup, and not everything works as well as it could have. It's good. It's not the best Daniel Craig Bond, but it definitely, and I mean definitely, is not the worst one. I give that one to Spectre. But this is a really great bounce back. It's a really good movie overall. And I would say as a send-off, I think it accomplishes its goals. And I think people are going to look back on this movie overall as a really great way to say goodbye to an actor that really has played Bond in a great dynamic way, and I definitely appreciate it for that alone. Problems, but still one hell of a Bond adventure worth diving into. Not bad at all, man. Not bad indeed. And not bad James Bond love. I mean, they got the Blu-ray, they got the DVD, no 4K, but that is a pretty nice little exclusive for all you James Bond lovers out there. If you're looking for some exclusive love, Walmart can't always say they do exclusives much anymore, but when they do, they do deliver. Not bad. I do love the look of that. That is really cool, man. Definitely iconic. Feels very James Bond villain-esque. And having a keychain of that, that's pretty sweet, man. Not bad. Can't say that there's much else physical media to behold here, but hey, at least they had the big release of the week, and you gotta appreciate that. Not bad at all, baby, for some James Bond love. Let's head out. Who'da thunk it, ladies and gentlemen? Who'da thunk it indeed that Walmart would be having some James Bond goodness? I don't think I even thought that was gonna happen, because here I thought, okay, I'm gonna come into Walmart and I'm gonna be like, oh, hey, yeah, we were supposed to get James Bond love. It escaped us, like every damn James Bond villain. Kind of feel like Walmart is sort of the Blofeld of my videos. Oh, I'll get you, Walmart. Thankfully, they did come through with a little James Bond goodness, even an exclusive to check out as well, so I'll give them a little bit of a break this time. This time. But definitely well worth a little bit of love. Certainly not all the physical media goodness, but hey, they did have the big name release of the week, so you definitely got to appreciate that from good old Wally World. I definitely do. A little praying to the physical media gods doesn't hurt from time to time. It may just get Walmart off of their ass to put up the new releases. Indeed, just a little bit, guys. Just a little bit, and I'll definitely take it for the glorious holiday season. Can't beat a little physical media love from time to time. And here at Walmart, sometimes that's a rarity. I'll definitely take it, baby. Oh, I bet you guys will as well, indeed. It always makes me a happy physical media boy when we definitely see some physical media goodness. And at least Walmart this time didn't disappoint. And I'll definitely take it. Oh, I will. But there is more physical media goodness to check out, so how about we go and see what we can find? All right, everybody, we are at our second location, Target. But before I go in, I got to talk to you guys about something. So we are in December of 2021. Now, do you realize that we are a year away? December of 2022, we will be knee-deep in Pandora yet again for Avatar 2. It is so crazy and wild to think about that we're finally going to get a sequel to this Avatar world, but it's finally going to happen, and December of next year is when it will. However, James Cameron, he's just a little bit worried if it'll actually do as well as he thinks it will. James Cameron calls making 4 Avatar films in one go a big roll of the dice. Let's dive in, shall we? James Cameron is worried nobody will watch his 4 Avatar sequels. Geez, he's worried now about that? After you've made the damn things? Well, might as well be now than never, I suppose. The first Avatar was released in 2009 and swiftly became the highest grossing film of all time. Cameron has been hard at work on 4 Avatar sequels, which have faced extensive delays over the past decade. Oh, I've read all about them. Man, so many delays, so much filming issues. Yeah, I've read all about that, man. The combined budget of all 4 films, okay, this is all 4 films, is reportedly set at $1 billion. $1 billion. That's with a B. Holy shit. And that will not even cost the same amount for the promotion and you name it. That's on top of the 1 billion, and probably even more than 1 billion at this point. That is fucking crazy, dude. The first sequel is set to be released in December 2022. However, the Titanic director has revealed one big worry. The big issue is, are we going to make any damn money? Maybe you should have thought about that a long while ago, Jim. Big, expensive films have got to make a lot of money. We're in a new world, post-COVID, post-streaming. Maybe those box office numbers will never be seen again. Who knows? It's a big roll of the dice. Oh, indeed it is. The film will be released on December 16, 2022, with new sequels arriving each year until 2025. So, starting next year and every year until 2025, you will be knee-deep up Pandora's ass. Oh, you will, man. Oh, if you didn't get enough of those blue navis before, oh, you will then. Oh, you indeed will, man. I don't know, dude. I mean, we're living in a whole different world now. We really are. With so many movies now going to streaming and not every movie being as equal at the box office as it used to. I mean, it is good in some ways because Spider-Man No Way Home made a shitload of cash. And so people do want to go to the movie theater, but they don't want to go to the movie theater for everything. It's got to be a big, epic movie, highly anticipated, that people are going to want to flock to movie theaters for. Is that going to be Avatar? I don't know, man, because at the end of the day, I really do like Avatar, but I don't love it. I remember when everybody was going gaga ape shit over Avatar, and I was sitting here like, well, it's good. It's not great. I mean, the visuals were amazing and stunning, and the 3D blew everybody's mind away. But again, what trick do you have up your sleeve now that's going to advance everything? I mean, it's James Cameron, so the guy is incredibly creative. He's somebody who's very technology savvy. I'm sure he's got something amazing up his sleeve. He's proven me wrong many times before. So I'm not saying the movie's not going to make money. I'm not saying the movie's going to be a failure, because he is somebody that I've learned to trust. Even when I didn't have much trust in him, I've learned to trust him in a very big, bad way. I truly have. So for me, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, it's been so long. The first movie came out in 2009. It'll be 2022 when the next movie is actually out. That's a long time, man. Sequels, see, for me, sequels really have to capture lightning in a bottle, right? Because if the first movie is successful, movies take generally 2 or 3 years to make overall, right? Getting the script right, the directing of it, the production, post-production, you name it. And so you really have to capture the fever once again 2 or 3 years later to really capture the magic. Some movies are able to do that and others aren't. But to wait this long for a sequel, I mean, not like it hasn't been done before, but the longer you wait, I truly believe the less anticipation it is. I mean, look, when the trailer comes out, we're going to like go gaga over the trailer, right? Oh my God, the visuals are amazing and it looks stunning and all that jazz. But again, a trailer is one thing, the movie is another. And again, I understand releasing it during holiday season where people are definitely going to want to go with their families to the movies. It makes sense to me. I just don't know if people are willing to redo that again, to go back so many years later. I mean, 2009 to 2022, that's a jump, man. It truly is a jump. And I just don't know whether it's going to be as successful as they want it to be, as they hope it to be. Look, I hope it is a success. For James Cameron's sake, for the studio's sake. I mean, you made 4 sequels. 4 sequels, man. And that's a bold move. You've got to at least appreciate that to a certain extent. Like, he's got balls, right? Because the first movie was so successful, he said, fuck it, we're doing 4 sequels, man. And usually a studio says, okay, we'll do 1 sequel and we'll go with it. And if it's successful, hey, we'll do another one, right? No, they banked on 4 sequels, man. And so if even one of these movies, and I mean that, if one of these movies fails, then they all fail. And so this is a big gamble for James Cameron, man. I mean, I love James Cameron, but I truly believe that this series of films is either going to solidify him or bury him. I mean, you spend so much money on the technology, so much money on making these movies and hoping that people will come back. And now in a post-COVID world, man, that is a big fucking gamble. I mean, James Cameron couldn't predict where the world would be in 2022, but to make 4 sequels and hope everything makes at least like $1 billion each, man, you're really asking a lot from people. And I don't know if people are willing to do it. I mean, people love that first movie, but again, so long afterwards, you really got to wonder whether the gamble is actually going to pay off. I like the movie, but did I really need 4 sequels? What do you think? I mean, seriously, I don't think I needed 4 of them, but James Cameron is betting on it, and let's hope the gamble pays off for his sake. Definitely let me know what you think about that, guys. In the meantime, there is not a lot of physical media, but a release here and there. Walmart definitely proved at least one of the major releases out there. Let's see if we can find anything else at good old Target. Let's go in and find out. I enjoy my physical media shaken, not stirred. Doesn't everybody? In No Time to Die, baby. Dun 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 dun. With this really great little Target display for No Time to Die. That's pretty cool, man. Usually Target really doesn't do any sort of displays for any movies, though. This is kind of interesting. Haven't seen one of these in a long while. Nice. Definitely digging that. I mean, they got the 2-disc collector's edition DVD for $22.99. They also have the 4K Love for $29.99. The 3-disc collector's edition Blu-ray DVD digital for $26.99. And lest we forget, a little only at Target goodness. Yes, the Blu-ray DVD digital for $26.99, and this comes with an only at Target exclusive. It comes actually with the making of No Time to Die mini book. So it comes with like a mini book which basically talks about the making of the movie, which is honestly pretty cool actually. Not bad. I like when they do these sort of mini book releases. That's actually pretty sweet. Definitely dig that in a big bad way. That's not half bad at all, man. And definitely all of the Bond physical media love as well. You definitely got to appreciate it from old Target, man. Now, I definitely wanted to talk about Daniel Craig. You know, despite what you think, good, bad, with some of the movies, Daniel Craig really has become one of the best Bonds for a modern generation. He really honestly has, man. And in my opinion, he's definitely a Bond that will be cherished for a very, very long time. A lot more people are on board now than they were back then, because if you remember when he was originally cast and came out as the next Bond, people were really resistant of Daniel Craig, and I mean really, really resistant. I remember people were getting pissed off at his hair color, his height, you name it. I mean, anything and everything that they were complaining about, they literally found any little thing to bitch and complain, man. Every little minuscule thing they definitely overanalyzed and overthought about, and they were pissed. They were like, this guy taking over Bond? They were really up in arms about this, man. Yeah, and that was way back, man. Just think about how many people would bitch and complain nowadays. Yeesh. Oh my God. In the age of bitching and complaining on the internet, well, doesn't seem so bad now, but back in the day, and that was some major stuff going on. It really was, man. But all of the naysayers, all of the haters, they shut their mouth pretty quickly once they saw Casino Royale, man. And that movie, dude, that is one of the best Bond films of all time. And I think it's pretty much well agreed upon that it truly is, man. And yeah, he sort of stumbled along the way here and there. I mean, in the second movie, I happen to like the second movie. I actually think it's pretty good, all things considered. But the third movie, Skyfall, oh, now that is yet another one that is considered one of the best Bond films of all time, and rightfully so, because that movie is fucking amazing, man. Yeah, Spectre, well said the better. Not really all that good. But Daniel Craig and his Bond films were always able to bounce back, and even in the lesser entries in the Craig franchise, there is still some great moments where Craig being Bond is truly iconic. And I gotta give Daniel Craig a lot of credit, because unlike some of the previous actors within the franchise, his entries were way more action-packed than any of the other ones were, and he was doing a lot more of his stunts and a lot more of the crazy fight scenes. He was really going for it as Bond, man, and because of that, he got injured up the ass. I mean, let's be real. When you're James Bond, it's not an easy breezy type of performance. It's not one where, you know, you do a little Macbeth and then you move on, right? You really have to commit to James motherfucking Bond, dude. You really have to. And by doing that, you are basically in it for the long haul. You are in it for the thick of it. You are in it to basically be beat up constantly on your ass, and yet somehow have to come out looking roses at the end of the day. And you gotta say, Daniel Craig did it better than most, honestly. He really did, man. And he got injured so badly. I almost think every single time he played Bond in one way or another, he got injured. Whether it was knee injuries or injuries to his ribs, you name it. He got so mangled up playing Bond. It was absolutely ridiculous, man. And at a certain point, I think Daniel Craig was done, right? Daniel Craig was like, I'm done with this shit, dude. I've been injured up the ass. Playing Bond is cool, but I don't know how much more I can really play of this character. And so he really wanted no more, and I'm so glad he came back because he truly showed what a Bond can do in this action spectacle cinema world that we are dealing with now. And also, he needed major redemption for Spectre. Well, there was that too. So he definitely needed to come back for that one. And he definitely delivered, at least in the redemption angle, at least in my opinion, he truly did. But think about it like this, though, guys, because the old school Bond, the old school James Bonds, they used to say some quirky, suave dialogue to the bad guys or the hot chick, shoot a gun a couple times, and then drive off in their Aston Martin. That's what they used to do. And it was simple, it was easy, you looked good doing it, you got the babes, you killed the bad guys, and you call it a day. Okay, fine, whatever. But now cinema has changed, action has changed, and movies have definitely upped the ante in a big bad way. You look at something like Bourne. Bourne definitely ended up upping the ante. You look at something like John Wick, that has as well. So Bond needs to keep up with the times. Bond needs to keep up with all these action franchises upping the ante even further than they did. And so with that being said, you have to keep up with the action stars of today, and Bond had to grow into more of a action badass than he ever was previously, and Craig had to be the one to do that. So give the man a lot of credit, a lot of due, because there were times when, yeah, he could have shot the gun, but instead he had fight scenes, like fight scene with Batista in Spectre, man, and he got his ass handed to him. He got injured on the set. If you're going up against Batista, he's one big boy, and so you're gonna get roughed up a bit, and he definitely has, man. I mean, he's taken a licking, he's kept on ticking, and I definitely appreciate Daniel Craig for that, and for that alone, you absolutely have to appreciate the man and everything he went through to play the character. And also, look, playing James Bond, there's a lot of stress on you to play that character, man. It is so iconic, and there's so many actors who have literally made their careers on James Bond alone, that if you don't deliver as this character, man, that's a lot of pressure that's put on you, and a lot of difficulty to, I suppose, perform. And you can either succeed greatly and be praised, or fail epically and be known as the guy that screwed up Bond. That is some heavy shit. And so he had a lot riding on him. To bring Bond into a new era, into a new age, and do that successfully and still be iconic, that is no easy task, and I think he definitely did deliver. I truly think he did, man. I mean, better than I thought he was going to do at times, succeeded my expectations, and I think has actually put himself in as one of the most iconic James Bonds of all time. I truly believe he has, man. I mean, I do think he is better than Timothy Dalton. I do think he is. I'm going to say he's better than Timothy Dalton. I'm going to say he's better than Pierce Brosnan. This is coming from a guy that grew up with Pierce as Bond. He was my Bond. But Craig, he definitely is better than Brosnan. I will freely admit that, man. He is really, really amazing. I mean, I love Brosnan, and Brosnan did some really good action, but I think as far as iconic and better movies are concerned, I think Craig does have him beat. However, it's hard to say whether Craig beats more, and I'm not sure he really beats Connery. I mean, to be fair, Connery has a lot of movies under his belt, a lot of them. I mean, Moore does too. I mean, there's some good ones. Live and Let Die is really amazing. Come on, Octopussy, anybody? I mean, he was amazing. Okay, Moonraker was kind of weird, but I mean, everybody's got one, you know what I'm saying? It's so hard to rank James Bonds, though. It really honestly is, man. I mean, I love Brosnan for different reasons than I love Craig. I love Moore for different reasons than I love Connery. And then you have other people like Dalton and Lazenby, you name it, so on and so forth. I think if I had to say this, and it's a bold statement because I think over time we can truly define Craig's run better, but I would put Craig easily within the top 3. I would put Moore, Connery, and Craig in there. Now, I don't know exactly what number I would put him as, but I would put him in easily the top 3. He has some iconic moments. He did the action expertly, and I truly feel he has some great movies that, as far as Bond films, are easily in the top tier. For sure, man. I mean, again, it's hard to live up to the legacy of Bond. You can do it, but nowadays, it's more of a tall order than it was back in the day, and Craig proves that you can do it. It takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but you can pull it off if you got the right man for the job. And Craig definitely was. Truly, truly was indeed. A unique Bond for the times, a very good Bond, maybe different from the old school ones, but still just as iconic. I truly do believe that, man. Truly do indeed. And some great, interesting physical media love for Mr. Bond, James Bond, but very, very well deserved indeed. Not half bad, baby. Not half bad at all. Oh, Mr. Bond is one iconic badass boy. And then in the front area, more physical media goodness to behold with Woke Up This Morning and watched the Man of Saints of Newark, the Blu-ray digital for $22.99, the DVD for $19.99. You like how I did that, huh? Yes. Took a while to figure that shit out. Indeed it did, man. The Many Saints of Newark. Who made Tony Soprano? Who indeed made that evil, complicated motherfucker? Ah, yes, the mob mentality never goes away. Good old Soprano love. Oh, yes, man. The prequel goodness. Yes, indeed, man. So, I used to watch Sopranos long time ago. I was one of those people that had the HBO subscription for Sopranos because, let's be honest, it was Sopranos. It was really worth it. I mean, come on. You really love that shit. Who didn't back in the day? You were jonesing for more Soprano love every single year, and you kept your HBO subscription because of it. Come on. You can admit it. You absolutely can. I won't fault you. So, when the finale happened, and the blackout happened, and everybody got pissed, and everybody was bitching and complaining, oh, you remember those days? Oh, I definitely do. All that was going on, right? Ah, yes. And a lot of people said, oh, they're setting up for the movie. Yes, the next movie in the adventures of Tony Soprano. And David Chase, the creator, said, no, we are not doing a movie of the next adventures of Tony Soprano. No, at the end of that TV show, when it cuts to black, you don't know whether somebody came in to kill Tony Soprano while he was eating onion rings, whether it was just a friend, a random person. You didn't know what was going on. It's the paranoia of Tony Soprano and the fact that he always has to watch his back. Always. He's always that guy where the mob mentality will never truly go away. So naturally, a lot of people were honestly disappointed by that. They're like, oh, come on. No movie? I thought you were setting up for a movie. I mean, Sex and the City got a movie. Clearly, you can do a movie. Yeah, we ain't Sex and the City. Okay? We're not doing that, man. So people were kind of disappointed. And over the years, there was always sort of hints and guesses of maybe David Chase might come back to the Soprano world at some point, right? Maybe, kind of, sort of, you never quite knew. They kept doing little nuggets, little interview hints where like, well, never say never. And they were always dangling that carrot, and the Sopranos fans were always like, oh, we might get some. And then it never happened, over and over and over again. And when James Gandolfini ended up dying, Rest in peace, James Gandolfini. When he passed away, any real sort of Sopranos continuation pretty much died with him, unfortunately, because you can't really do a Sopranos movie without the Tony Soprano. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, that pretty much got cut down after his death, unfortunately. But never say never, because just because you can't do a sequel doesn't mean that you can't do a prequel. And so, going back to the early years of Tony Soprano, the Soprano family, the mob mentality, going back to where it all started. Yeah, so that is basically what this movie is, guys. So I will give this movie a certain amount of credit. They do it in a clever way of seeing characters that you've never seen before, certain stories that you only heard about through the actual show itself, and moments and situations that really come to life in that old school mob way, which I really did appreciate. Seeing younger versions of some of the older characters from the TV show was a real treat, and seeing some of their origins and how they ended up becoming who they became was very fascinating and incredibly entertaining. So I gotta give them credit for that, right? They did a really great job with that. The time period of the late 60s, early 70s, I thought they did brilliantly. The costumes, the clothing, the set dressing, everything was phenomenal. They definitely did their due diligence to pay a lot of respect to the Sopranos legacy and those characters. And if you love the world of Sopranos, then this is a great homage to that. It truly is. So for that, I definitely will give it a lot of due, because it is creative in that way. And certain surprises that you don't see coming neither, which I think as Soprano fans, you definitely do appreciate. The big problem that I had was after I watched the movie, I really asked myself, was this really necessary? Was this movie important enough to need to be made? Because as much as I enjoyed some of the characters and the actors and seeing Ray Liotta in a Sopranos movie, I mean, the guy was in Goodfellas. I mean, come on. It instantly gives you mob cred when you have Ray Liotta in your movie, man. It instantly does. But I kept on asking myself, I said, is this movie really worth it in the overall Sopranos canon? Does it really need to exist? And the honest answer is no, it doesn't really need to exist. I mean, as much fun as it was seeing some of those characters, the younger versions, and seeing some of the stuff that was only said in the Sopranos TV show come to life, at the end of the day, it's a prequel. You know what's going to happen to these characters. You know what's going to happen to Tony Soprano. There really isn't much surprise within the film that really is going to reshape the way you think about Sopranos, is going to change the ultimate legacy of the whole franchise itself. And that's the problem, because the movie in some ways kind of feels like it's going through the motions. And yeah, it's cool to see those situations. It's cool to see the Sopranos world come to life. But at the end of the day, it didn't really do anything new or dynamic or really anything worth diving into. I mean, it's cool to see James Gandolfini's son play Tony Soprano, and he looks like a dead ringer of a young James Gandolfini. So in some ways, that was really cool to see that, and I definitely really appreciated it. But at the end of the day, that's all that I really got from that. Yeah, it's cool to see Christopher Malasanto's father and how he shaped Tony Soprano's life, but it all kind of feels like they're trying to fit in moments that sort of give you bigger context of the Sopranos world, but it kind of feels forced and haphazard, and it just didn't really sit right with me. I mean, there's a moment where baby Christopher is there with the father and a bunch of the family, and Tony is trying to hold Christopher, like baby Christopher, and you're like, oh, Tony Soprano and Christopher, oh, they're two peas in a pod already, as they will be in Sopranos. But as you know, spoiler alert, he eventually betrays Christopher and kills him. And so in this movie, he holds the baby, and the baby starts to to cry and get upset and everything. And I think like the grandmother or one of the older family members is like, babies can sense things. And I'm like, what? Like, so the baby suddenly has a sixth sense that eventually he's gonna die by Tony's hands? What? It just didn't make any sense to me. And it felt like they were forcing things in there for the diehard fans just to be like, oh, yes, you know, if you're coming to Many Saints in Newark, then clearly you're a Sopranos fan, and we want to keep those cool little Sopranos moments where you'd be like, oh my God, baby Christopher knew he was gonna die years and years before. And it's like, oh, come on, man. So there's those type of moments that feel cheap and feel like they're just there to kind of satisfy the fan base, but it doesn't really satisfy you. It just comes off as kind of, why did they even put this goddamn thing in there? That's what it kind of feels like to me, man. It's not like it's a bad movie or anything. I mean, some of the mob stuff is really cool, and seeing some of the characters come to life, recreated in younger versions, especially if you're a fan, is always pretty interesting to check out. But again, as far as the mob stuff is concerned, if you've seen a lot of mob movies out there, if you've seen a lot of the Martin Scorsese stuff, then it's not like this movie necessarily surprises you in any way. It's just taking that stuff and basically spinning it into its own soprano way of doing things, which is pretty much the same as almost any mob movie out there to a certain extent, man. I mean, if you've seen a movie like The Bronx Tale or something, this movie steals heavily from Bronx Tale and Scorsese stuff, Goodfellas, you name it. And it doesn't really do it any better than some of those movies do. In fact, maybe less or so. And the other problem with prequels is the fact that, again, you know where everything is going. You know the fact that these characters, some of them are going to live, some of them are going to die. You know the whole kit and caboodle of it. It's the same thing with the Star Wars prequels or any other prequel for that. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre prequel or, you know, the Psycho prequel, you name it. Some of those are decent. There's other prequels out there that I kind of like. But again, you know where everything is going. So there really is no surprises at the end of the day. That's the problem with prequels in a lot of ways. Now, if you go in cold to The Sopranos and watch The Many Saints of Newark first, before watching the Sopranos series, then it will have a certain different edge to it than what it has for me or for a lot of you guys out there. But as a prequel, I don't think it's nearly as effective as it could have been. And at the end of the day, it didn't really even need to be made either. It's an interesting watch as a fan, but if you're not a fan, then there's really no reason to dive into this. There's better mob movies, there's better prequel movies, and at the end of the day, it's just all just kind of going through the motions and feels forced. And I love The Sopranos. And so for me, at the end of that TV show, when Tony Soprano is eating onion rings with his family and the door opens and it cuts to black, despite all the frustrations, despite all of the hysteria, I kind of wanted to stay there. Movies like this are an interesting concept, but as a movie, it kind of fails. Oh man, when will I ever fucking learn? Jesus. The Blu-ray digital of Fortress for $14.99. This prison has no bars. This movie really needs to be locked in a fucking prison. Holy shit. Oh man. Jesus. I watched this on Amazon Prime. Okay, yeah, I'll cop to it. I did. And you want to know what? What is wrong with me? I mean, seriously, I feel like I'm in a battered relationship with Bruce Willis, man, like an abusive one, because I know that he's not good anymore. I know that it's bad for me to watch his movies, but I just keep coming back. I just don't know any better, man. Somebody needs to smack the shit out of me to truly understand that I just need to let him go. I just do. Oh, man. One of these days I'll learn. When? Man, that's anybody's fucking guess. God damn it. So, yes, I did end up watching Fortress, sadly enough as it is, and basically it's about this young guy who ends up wanting to visit his father at this, or what he believes is a retirement home. And all the while, when he's visiting his father in this supposed retirement home, which is not really a retirement home, very secretly guarded, lots of guns for old senior citizens. Well, it is Bruce Willis, and I suppose we have to end up protecting our national treasures. National treasures? Bruce Willis? The same sentence? I am in an abusive relationship. Oh, man. And so, while that's all going on, there's actually a elite attack squad that is deciding to attack the facility that Bruce Willis is in order to get Bruce Willis or to exact revenge on him for something he did in the past, and all of the action goodness with cheesy actors and cheesy action, and well, we're off and running, baby. And oh yes, yet again, more straight to DVD and Blu-ray Bruce Willis love. Okay, so to be fair, all right, I'm gonna be fair here. The movie is not terrible, all things considered. I mean, it's really not. If in the grand scheme of things, I have seen much worse Bruce Willis straight to DVD films out there. I mean, I truly have. So, in fact, if I'm going to praise it for anything, it's really not as bad as some of the other straight to DVD garbage that Bruce Willis has done. Then again, that's not saying much, but it is somewhat faint praise, I suppose. I mean, I will give it this much. Jesse Metcalfe seems to actually be trying in the movie, right? He actually seems like he kind of gives a shit and wants to give a decent, solid, thrilling performance. He is trying. Then again, it's Jesse Metcalfe, so how much trying can he really do? But he is trying, to be fair. Bruce Willis? Oh, man. God, Bruce. He really just doesn't give a fuck anymore, man. He hasn't given a fuck in a really long-ass time, man. I mean, he just doesn't care anymore. I mean, really, he's given up. He has, man. I mean, here's an interesting trivia for this film. Bruce Willis filmed all of his scenes in one afternoon. Serious, one afternoon he filmed all of his scenes for this film. Gee, I wonder why. Oh, I can tell you, because he comes across as bored, mundane, and a complete wet noodle is what he does, man. I mean, literally, it's just not like he's really trying anymore. He's just trying to pretend to be sort of gruff and badass in that sort of like yeah, sort of that yawning like grandpa kind of way. But honestly, that works well for Clint Eastwood. Bruce Willis, yeah, not so much, man. God damn it, dude. I mean, he really does not give two shits in this movie, man. And you could tell from his acting, he really does. He's just collecting a paycheck, man. He's waiting for his check to clear in his account, and then he might actually give a shit. Maybe. Depending on the actual amount of the check that he's getting. Pretty much about it, man. I mean, he's okay here. Chad Michael Murray, I mean, I guess he's kind of trying, maybe, sort of, but he's supposed to be the big bad guy in this movie, right? He's supposed to be the big evil bad guy that is going up against Bruce Willis and Jesse Metcalfe, right? He's supposed to be that guy, right? And I have to be honest with you, I was not terrified by him one single second. And I'm serious, man, I just wasn't. He just really comes across as kind of lame, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm more afraid of my mother. Hell, I'm more afraid of my girlfriend. Hell, I'm more afraid of Tickle Me Elmo than this motherfucker. I mean, seriously, man. He is not effective as the bad guy whatsoever. He's trying to speechify, and he'll punch Bruce Willis in the face a few times and do his maniacal, like, oh, my evil plan. And I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here, man. Go back to preschool, bitch. Like, I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, this guy is not good at what he does. I mean, maybe back in the day, but certainly not anymore, man. The movie just all comes across as kind of just there. Average Joe-esque. I mean, nothing really spectacular or amazing to really write home about, to be honest. I mean, the action is not terrible. I mean, it's better than some of the other really shitty Bruce Willis straight-to-DVD films that you've seen in the past. But then again, it doesn't wow you either. And it feels like a lot of stuff is off camera, right? Like they'll throw a grenade, right? And there's supposed to be like a dozen people that it takes out. But you never see it, right? Like you see the explosion happen, but you don't see any of the bodies. Or for instance, like there's an ambush that happens and there's like 3 or 4 people that they show. And then there's a computer monitor where they show like, oh, there's like a ton of them that have ambushed them. And you never actually get to see it. And you're like, okay, so you're telling me that they kind of were trying to maybe trick you into thinking that the action is more bigger and more spectacular than it actually is. Yeah, I saw around that bullshit. I truly did, man. Like I said, it's not absolutely terrible, but it's kind of cheapish, because there's moments where it could be really spectacular, but then they cut away. They're like, oh my god, look at this amazing explosion, or this amazing fight scene, and you never actually get to see the damn thing. Yeah, they just didn't quite have the budget for it. They could have, but then they chose to pay Bruce Willis. Shame, 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 man. Shame indeed. Oh, man. Good God, dude. I mean, the acting does not come off really good. They try to maybe supplement the action with seeing, like, hot chicks in tight clothing. And, ooh, that'll entice you away from seeing the shitty action or the shitty actors. No, because, hell, I could watch 100 movies in my collection like that. This movie really doesn't really provide much in the way of that either. I mean, come on, man. They try to distract you with every little thing here, every little thing there, but it doesn't really get away from the fact that the movie just really is not that good. It's still better than your average, mundane, straight-to-DVD Bruce Willis film, but then again, that's not really a saving grace either. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. They try to be better than they actually are, but it just fails in every single aspect, man. It really honestly does. I mean, hell, even Shannon Doherty is in this movie. I was actually kind of shocked to see Shannon Doherty, and kind of happy, because I do kind of like Shannon Doherty from way back in the day. I mean, Mallrats, anybody? I do definitely did dig her. But even she sort of coming across as mundane. Like, there's this big old, like, oh my god, she betrayed Bruce Willis. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm like, really? Like, shit, I could see that crap coming a mile away, man. I mean, come on. They try to make it exciting. They try to make it entertaining, but they just can't fucking do it, man. They just can't. A for effort? And not so much, man. And here's the kicker of it, right? At the end of the movie, I thought, okay, they defeat the bad guy, right? They defeat him, everybody's happily ever after, the guy gets the girl, of course they do, and it's all well and good. But then, they set up for a sequel. I'm dead serious, they actually set up for a sequel in this motherfucker. I'm like, really? Who wants to see a sequel to this shit? But apparently, here's another little interesting bit that I did not realize until I looked into this film more. They've already shot a Fortress 2 and a Fortress 3. I am not even kidding you. They've actually already filmed this shit. They filmed it back to back. So whether I like it or not, whether I actually admit I'm in an abusive relationship with Bruce Willis, now that I've seen Fortress, I guess I have to watch Fortress 2 and Fortress 3? Man, what did I just get myself into? Why? Why do I do this to myself? Shit. So I guess now we are literally going to have Chad Michael Murray against Bruce Willis yet again. Oh, fucking hell, man. I knew I should have never pressed play on this motherfucker movie. I knew I should have never done it. But I'm a glutton for punishment, and now I'm gonna have to wallow in more Fortress bad Bruce Willis shit. I can't walk away now. It's just beginning. And fuck my life. $14.99 for this movie? Maybe $5? Well, more like Dollar Tree love. But for that price? Yeah, that is just too fucking high. On Blue Bayou, the Blu-ray digital for $22.99. Now, I've heard of this movie, but I have not gotten a chance to actually watch it, though. However, it does have Alicia Vikander in it, and I am definitely a fan of Alicia Vikander, man. I mean, Ex Machina, The Danish Girl, Tomb Raider. She is pretty damn solid as an actress, so I may have to give this one a look at some point. It's not where you're from, it's where you belong. Very true indeed. What is this about? Blue Bayou is a moving and timely story of uniquely American family fighting for their future. Antonio, a Korean adoptee raised in a small town in Louisiana, Bayou was married to the love of his life, Kathy, stepdad to their beloved daughter, struggling to make a better life, the ghost of his past. Oh, Deported. Oh, okay, yes, a very timely movie indeed. There was a time not too long ago, actually, where a lot of people were getting deported for really just not very good reasons. They were just getting deported to their country because we said, hey, we want to get rid of foreign people, even though America is made up of foreign people. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sure, why the hell not, man? So this is a very timely movie that is something that has been in the headlines not too long back. Very interesting indeed. I'm sure the acting is phenomenal here. The plot, of course, is something that's very dramatic and something that is very newsworthy as well, something that captivated the world. So this is something that would be definitely interesting, worth checking out. I do love good dramatic work, something that's incredibly well acted. Yes, it's not all about the action spectacle superhero craziness. Sometimes you want a good little dramatic yarn worth diving into, and Blue Bayou definitely seems like that fills the void. So was Venom hungry or something? I mean, he couldn't find a chicken to eat or some shit? I mean, what the hell? Jesus, man. That thing is ripped to shreds. Yo. Oh, man. As somebody who loves his slipcovers, man, this makes me want to cry. This really does. Oh, shit. God, that is so depressing. Oh, my Lord. Jeez. Well, that slipcover's gone to shit, and there ain't no way of fixing that motherfucker. God damn, dude. Oh, they have that, but oh, I totally forgot when I was at Walmart to talk about Ron's Gone Wrong. The 4K, the Blu-ray, and the DVD, man. Yes, I finally got a chance to see Ron's Gone Wrong. I know, right? Finally. It's only been like a few weeks. Finally got to watch the damn thing, man. It's on Disney Plus and surprisingly also on HBO Max as well. So if you don't have one and have the other, you are in luck. Regardless, you get all that Ron's Gone Wrong love, man. So yes, I finally got to watch it and dig into this bad boy. So let's talk about Ron, shall we? Yes, a very socially awkward middle schooler who honestly doesn't have any friends. Bummer, man. But even worse, he's not part of the cool kids because he doesn't have a B-bot. Wait a minute. You don't know what a B-bot is? You don't have a B-bot? Well, if you don't have one, you're not cool. You're damn right you're not cool. It's basically like an iPhone or a Samsung for a kid, basically. I mean, it can record videos, it can do all kinds of social media stuff, all the things that basically a cell phone for an adult does, this does for kids. Great. Let's get kids hooked on technology even more than they already are. Fan-frickin-tastic. Jeez, man.
And he wants a Bebot so badly because everybody else has one. You know that kid mentality. If everybody else has one, I gotta have one too. And it was his birthday, and well, his grandma and his father, well, they didn't get him what he wanted. He's a little upset, a little sad. And the father says, let's go and get one. Well, they find a broken one on the street from some third cellar dude on the street corner. And they're like, hey, we got you one. He's so excited. However, it's kind of messed up and malfunctioning and isn't quite working right. And it's going all haywire. And the adventures go from there. Wild, wacky, crazy, ridiculous, and a little bit heartwarming to boot. This movie turned out to be an incredible surprise to me. I'm serious. I really didn't know, honestly, what to expect with this type of movie. I thought it would be sort of like almost like, you know, an E.T. except with a robot instead of an alien, right? And it kind of is to a certain extent, but it's so much more than that. It's basically so much more heartfelt and so much more heartwarming and has so much better messaging than your average animated film that you might see nowadays, such as the values of friendship, being unique and your own self, and learning that you don't have to be like everybody else, that sometimes being outside the box and being different is not exactly a bad thing. It should be embraced more. I mean, there's some really great messaging in here for kids that I really love. I think adults are really going to love this film as well, man. It's got some really great moments in there that you remember when you were a kid, having these toys and trying to be a part of everybody else, having the latest and greatest thing. And there's moments in there where it really feels very nostalgic and really feels like some of those old animated movies from back in the day that you sort of treasure. It's fun, it's quirky, the animation is absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. The voice acting is fantastic here. Zach Galifianakis playing the weird Bebot Ron is so good, man. He plays it so great. A malfunctioning robot that is so perfect for Zach Galifianakis, man. It's absolutely awesome here. Ed Helms plays the father, and Justice Smith is here as well in a role too. Great voice acting, great animation. It's fun. It's got some really entertaining moments. The action is really cool. It's bright and colorful. Kids are really going to gravitate towards this film in a big bad way. It was way better than I thought it was ever going to be. It truly is, man. And it's kind of weird because this was not originally supposed to be a Disney movie. It actually was going to be released by 20th Century Fox. Of course, Disney bought 20th Century Fox, and so they ended up swallowing the entity, which meant that they were going to release it. However, if you remember, this movie didn't get a lot of love. Well, yes, because of the pandemic, but also because Disney really didn't have any stake in the title. I mean, they didn't make it, they're just distributing it. So that's why it didn't really find much play for many people. Not many people even saw it, because honestly, Disney really didn't care all that much. But now it's out there, and it's way better than people really do give it credit for. I mean, if you really think about it, it almost could be a horror movie, like a Child's Play, like your doll coming to life, a robot. Almost maybe even Short Circuit. It does have some similarities to the Short Circuit, doesn't it? Yeah, robot goes haywire and learns to love people. Okay, yeah, that one killed. This one, not so much. Maims, beats up, doesn't kill though. We'll go so far in a kiddie film. Not all the way, folks. But it's still really, really great, and I thought it had a lot of heart to it. It had a lot of fun. It was incredibly entertaining, and honestly, I even welled up a tear or two towards the end. I really did, man. That friendship was so solid. They did a great job with the characters that it really got to me, man. As somebody who used to love old school toys back in the day and remember those times, man, sometimes your best buddy was an inanimate object and you would carry it with you all the time. This reminded me of that. just updated to a modern age. And I just love that. I really love that sensibility so much. And I thought it was perfect. I thought it was incredibly well done, man. I mean, the sensibility with kids nowadays is that we're connecting so much with the world through our phones and our technology. And sometimes this movie says, yes, that's fine, you can do that, but also make sure to actually connect with the real world and with people. And it's actually connections with real friends that really matter. And that's a great, great statement to make. It truly is. And the movie is phenomenal. It was so much better than I ever wished it was going to be, and that makes me a very happy man, dude. I can't say I love all animated movies, but this one, man, I really, really dig. I thought it was friggin' awesome. Very, very well done. It might have a little bit of fault to it or two. You know, there might be a moment or two where you might be a little bit bored, a little bit of lull, but honestly, it's not that much. I think a lot of people are really gonna love this movie, man. It's that damn good, man. Wrong's gone wrong. This is a movie that everybody needs to experience, man. And it's just great because it's cool to see a movie that's outside the box and a little different. And different is not a bad thing. You know, we all want to be normal. We all want to be part of the cool kids. And maybe being outside the box, maybe being off the beaten path is not a bad thing. And I think we should embrace that more. I think we really do. And movies like Ron's Gone Wrong definitely needs to be propped up. In an age where animated movies are, well, some break the trend, but a lot of them are cookie cutter, Ron's Gone Wrong proves different, can be a very, very good thing. Definitely a fun and unique and very interesting animated film. Definitely worth diving into. Not perfect, but at the end of the day, it's still Disney goodness. Definitely worth diving into. Definitely for the kids and some cool stuff for the adults as well. Not half bad, all things consider, for Ron's Gone Wrong. I mean, now that I finally got to watch the damn thing. Oh, absolutely, man. It's about damn time. Finally. Damn glad I finally got at least to check that out, man. So they've got that. They've got, oh, dear Lord. Some indie goodness, some straight to DVD Bruce Willis love, because you've always got to have that, right? Yeah, Sopranos, prequels, James Bond love, exclusives too. Target definitely was doing it this week. All that physical media love, and you got to appreciate it. Let's head out. Well, well. Target done did it again. Oh, they did, man. Gotta continue to hit it out of the park with the physical media goodness, even on a week where, by the way, if all they did was have the main new releases week, if all they did was have James Bond and the exclusive itself, okay, cool, done, I'm a happy camper. But to have even more physical media goodness on top of that, the indie love as well, the other big name release of Sopranos goodness, I mean, they did end up having that Bruce Willis straight to DVD film. Well, you're not perfect, Target. But sure, why not? If there's any Bruce Willis fans out there that want to buy it, I want names, damn it. I do indeed. But for the most part, they definitely did a hell of a lot more love than they definitely needed to do. But that has been Target over and over again. They have definitely exceeded expectations, man. And this week is no exception. Exclusive love, new release love, a couple of indie surprises as well. Target has definitely been doing good this year. They truly have. And this week is yet another example of how great Target can be when they focus on the physical media love, as they have been doing time and time again. And that makes me a very happy physical media boy, baby. Indeed it does, and I hope it does for you as well. But that is not all, because clearly there is more physical media to check out. So let's blow this pop stand and keep on checking out all that movie goodness.
All right, everybody, we are at our third location, the second one. I'm going to go in and check out if there's any interesting indie titles worth showing off. If there is, I will bring it back to Film Fan 108 HU and show it off to each and every one of you. But before I do that, I got to talk about a trailer with you guys, and that is a movie that I'm actually really anticipating a sequel to a surprisingly pretty damn good first film. And that would be Sonic the Hedgehog 2, baby. Oh, man. Who'd have thought that I would actually be excited for a second Sonic the Hedgehog movie? And honestly, I think a lot of people would say that because when the first trailers came out for the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I think everybody, including me, says, ooh, that looked bad. But what honestly really looked bad was the design of Sonic. Like, you looked at that design of Sonic and you're like, that is not Sonic. I don't know what that is, but that damn sure ain't Sonic the Hedgehog, okay? And I think a lot of people thought the same goddamn thing, man. And once they saw the movie community, old school gamers of Sonic bitch and complain, and they were bitching and complaining hardcore, they decided, look, man, we have got to change the design. I know we're going to delay the film. I know people are pissed off that we got to redo everything, but man, we are so in jeopardy of this movie failing if we don't redesign Sonic. And they did it, and man, it paid off in spades. The movie's actually really good. And with the actual great design of Sonic, it just made it that much better. So I was pleasantly surprised. I love the comedy. I love the heartwarming aspect between James Marsden and Sonic. Man, Jim Carrey, Robotnik, killed it, man. He was awesome. So I'm like, okay, this was fun. It was entertaining. I liked it. And I knew because it made so much money at the box office, I'm like, yeah, this thing is definitely going to be getting some love at some point. So, yes, we're finally here for yet another Sonic adventure. And this time, Robotnik is back. And he's bald. And a way better stash, too. Man, that guy's stash. Watch out, Sam Elliott. You've got competition. Oh, indeed you do, man. So sweet, man. However, he comes back for revenge, coming back to take over the world, and Sonic has to stop him. Oh, good luck, man. Your arch-evil nemesis, Dr. Robotnik. Oh, man. So good. So good, man. And this time, he's not alone. He has a sidekick, Tails. However, well, Robotnik didn't come empty-handed. He's got Knuckles, baby. Oh, man. I mean, look, any person who is an old school fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, you know these characters, you know the powers, you know the look of them. And this movie, man, I mean, it just drips nostalgia. At least for the lovers of the game who have really devoted a lot of time and effort and a lot of admiration to the world of Sonic. It feels like this movie, much in the same way that the first film was, is definitely a love letter to the fans, love letter to the world of Sonic the Hedgehog. And I feel that's something that really comes across in the trailer. I will say that the trailer looks very busy. It looks like it's got a lot going on, and that's the one thing I'm worried about. I'm like, okay, there's so much going on. There's so many characters that, are they really going to be able to balance everything in the right way, have a really great story, and everybody gets their moment to shine? Or is it just going to be one of those things where it's too many cooks in the kitchen, too many things happening, and something, somewhere, somebody is going to get shortchanged? I'm hoping that's not the case because it looks really great, man. It looks dynamic. It looks really cool with great action and great set pieces. Sonic still looks awesome here. I love the back and forth that he's having with Tails. I love the cool sort of little hint that you get some really great action with Knuckles. I think like Idris Elba is voicing Knuckles, which is really crazy to me because I'm thinking to myself, okay, Knuckles is badass. But when it's voiced by Idris Elba, even better, baby. Even better, man. I mean, even James Marsden is back in here, but I don't know how much James Marsden is really going to have a role here, if he's more brought to the side than anything else. But I really like the idea that Sonic is somebody that's really trying to help the world, somebody that's really trying to make a difference and be sort of a hero. And the idea that James Marsden's like, yeah, you know, you will have your moment when it comes. And when that happens, you have to be ready for it. Well, Robotnik, Knuckles, Sonic, do your heroic deed, baby. Do it indeed. Because they need you in a big bad way, man. It looks really fun. It looks entertaining. I'm liking some of the CGI. I like the Jim Carrey look going even more wackier and crazier. And he was already really over the top and ridiculous in the first movie. Oh man, I have a feeling you ain't seen nothing yet, man. He's gonna go so far off the deep end. It's either gonna really work or it's gonna be like, oh man, pull it back, Jim. Pull it back. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Robotnik is crazy weird anyways, and I like where Jim Carrey took it in the first film, so I am anticipating where this goes. I think this has the potential to be a really great sequel in many ways. I really think it does. It has the potential to not be great, but overall, I think it could really work out quite well. You guys gotta let me know what you think. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, who'd have thought I'd actually be excited, but it actually is something I'm really looking forward to. First film was that good, but can the second film deliver? Well, I guess we'll have to wait to find out. But definitely let me know what you think about that. But in the meantime, let's go into the second Walmart and see if there's any indie goodness worth checking out. All right, everybody, in at the second Walmart, and this week is not actually half bad for physical media love. We're getting some big blockbusters, we're getting exclusives. I mean, not as plentiful as certain other weeks we've seen previously, but we are getting towards the end of the year, so the well is drying up just a little bit, but boy, we are still getting a lot of love, like James Bond action. Oh, we definitely are, man. So to counter all of the big blockbuster goodness, is there any indie love worth showing off? Well, honestly, no, there really isn't. I'm dead serious, guys. They don't have any indie bizarreness this week. I think they're all sort of indie weirded out, which is kind of a damn shame, actually. Yeah, I think they sort of expired all of that indie oddities for the year. I'm sure the love will definitely come back very soon. Let's hope, guys, but nothing here at good old Walmart, man. The same old indie weirdness as before. Nothing new, nothing crazy, nothing wild. Let's hope for future weirdness. But in the meantime, that love, well, this week at least, has passed by. Shame, shame, shame on the second Walmart. I wanted my indie goodness, but I'll take a week off. But you better be back next time. That's for damn sure. But in the meantime, well, no physical media love here, but let's hope more to come. All right, everybody, we are at our fourth and final location. And in the spirit of giving, it's always good to give a little love to the beast. Oh, indeed it is. So you definitely know where we are. We are at none other than Best Buy the Beast. Best Buy, baby. Oh, yes, indeed. It's been pretty interesting physical media love exclusives, some unique titles worth checking out. What will Best Buy have in store? Hopefully more of that exclusive love, new release love, and a surprise or two waiting for us. Only way to find out is to go inside, so let's head in, check it out. No Time to Die? Well, more like no new releases. Holy shit, guys, seriously, look at this. Oh my god! There is no copies left of No Time to Die. Seriously. The Blu-ray is gone. The 4K is gone. The Steelbook, obviously. Holy shit, man. There's nothing left. There is no Time to Die at all. It's completely invisible. It's completely vanished from store shelves here at Best Buy. That is it. It literally has completely vanished in a huge, huge way. No more, man. My God, dude. I mean, they have all the other stuff. They have a shitload of Snake Eyes, a ton of G.I. Joe, Cry Macho. Oh, I mean, look, they do have Space Jam: A New Legacy. You know, if you want that Steelbook. Yeah, you don't want that shit. Seriously. Wow, man, they even still have the Mortal Kombat Steelbook, but as far as No Time to Die is concerned,
Wow, I mean, I knew it was going to be popular, but Best Buy, damn, they done run out. Holy shit. That is crazy, man. Well, there's no time to die here at the Beast. Nothing. Maybe let's hope for something. And I was seriously expecting better on the other side? Shame on me, man. Shit. I mean, look at all this. The Venom Let There Be Carnage? There is no more. That is all gone. Holy shit. Damn, they literally ripped the shelves apart getting Venom Let There Be Carnage. Again, it's completely nothing. Nada. No way, no how. I mean, there is still a little bit left of the 4K steelbook of The Wolf of Wall Street, which is cool. That's nice. I mean, they have some of the Snake Eyes steelbook love, Injustice steelbook, Cruella, Old, which seems like Old is like sitting here for a long ass time. Yeah, the movie ain't that good. I kind of expected it, guys. Holy shit, man. I mean, hey, they still have the Street Fighter steelbook. This is a really good steelbook, but I don't see many people clamoring to get this one. Damn shame. But as far as No Time to Die love, or even Let There Be Carnage love, yeah, there is nothing. It's completely nada, zippo, zilch. Yeah, we're shit out of luck, guys. Now, sometimes the beast is plentiful, and sometimes the beast lets you down. Let's hopefully see something else we're checking out. Well, it doesn't really look like our luck is getting any better, folks. Oh my god. They are wiped. I mean, actually, my bad, guys, because they do have just 2 more copies left of Venom Let There Be Carnage. That is it. In all of the Best Buy here, they have 2 copies left, and they're the 4K. That's it. And most likely, within these next couple days, those are probably going to sell. So they're going to have zippo, zilch, nada, no way, no how. Damn, that has completely sold. Again, the same thing with No Time to Die. No more No Time to Die, even in the back. None in the front, none in the back. Man, boy, they got wiped like hell, man. They really did. I mean, they do have some indie love here for $15.99. Hell Hath No Fury. Vengeance is overdue. Great, cool. What about No Time to Die? Seriously. I guess Hell Hath No Fury than a customer who really wants the fucking Bond love. Jeez, apparently so. Shit. And they fucking raided this area. Fuck, man. Hell Hath No Fury is the story of one woman who single-handedly takes on the might of the German war machine, French resistance, and a band of U.S. infantrymen. Branded a traitor by her countrymen, is rescued by American soldiers on one condition: to survive must lead them to gold. Ah, yes, of course. Ah, yes, we'll rescue you, but, you know, we need the gold. You know, the stuff that you're hiding. We're greedy. We'll still rescue and be heroes, but we just want your shit. Apparently so, man. Interesting. I do love these type of movies. War movies, strong female characters. This could be kind of an interesting movie worth diving into. A woman who's battling people on all sides. Some with good intentions, some with evil intentions. Some you don't know who you can trust. The only person who you can trust, however, is yourself. I do really like that. Very interesting war tale, worth diving into at some point. Looks pretty cool. Interesting actors. Might be worth checking out. Interesting. I mean, they do have that. I'm dreaming of a white Krampus. Oh man, well, at least surprise, we find something intriguing. The 4K Blu-ray Collector's Edition Scream Factory release of Krampus, the Naughty Cut, for $29.99. Oh man, for those who are naughty, not nice. Oh yes, indeed, man. Oh, all that Scream Factory goodness, 4K style, baby. I love this movie, man. This movie, to me, is a holiday classic. Maybe not in the same way as Christmas Story or It's a Wonderful Life, White Christmas, Holiday Inn, you name it. but it's definitely a Christmas classic all the same. It really is, man. I've never really known much about the Krampus legend. It was not something that I really dived into. Then again, hello, I am Jewish, folks. Christmas holiday traditions aren't naturally my bag, baby. Not really. But once I saw this movie, I kind of dived more into Krampus, and it's such a unique and interesting legend, sort of like almost like the anti-Santa in a lot of ways, grabbing kids and collecting them, using them for his evil purposes. I just love this movie, man, so much, and I think it's so well done. The humor is really on point. I love the horror aspect, the sort of the Christmas holiday stuff there to kill them. And Krampus is so imposing and nasty and such an evil figure for Christmas that it's instantly iconic the moment you see the character. I just love this movie so much, man. And Michael Dougherty directing this. You have to remember, he was the writer, or actually one of the writers of X-Men 2. He wrote Superman Returns. He also ended up directing Trick or Treat, yes, which has instantly become another holiday classic for Halloween as well. So not only has he done a Halloween classic, he's done a Christmas classic as well. The guy definitely knows his shit. He definitely does, man. I used to own the other cut, the Blu-ray theatrical cut. This does look quite interesting to me. Very interesting indeed. I wonder what makes it so naughty. I wonder what it does. Maybe a little bit more blood, maybe a little bit more swearing, maybe a little bit more gore love, perhaps. But regardless, whether you see the theatrical or the naughty cut, you can't deny that Krampus is one evil motherfucker. And this movie definitely gave Krampus the high profile that he so richly deserves. There's a lot of Krampus movies out there. A lot of them that quite not exactly the best holiday cheer you've ever seen. Actually, they probably deserve more coal than they do gifts. But this one actually ends up making Krampus a well-worthy villain for all those Christmas kiddies out there. Not bad at all. And look at all that special feature love. Audio commentaries, a bunch of featurettes, a lot of stuff that got ported over from the original release that had a lot of special features as well. Nice. Oh, very sweet indeed, man. If you're looking for some holiday horror goodness, Krampus is one you definitely got to check out. So damn good, man. So damn good indeed. Really, really great, man. Unfortunately, I can't quite say anything else for the physical media this week. I mean, No Time to Die has left us in the dust. Hell, they don't even have the Many Saints of Newark. Ah, man, talk about a lackluster physical media week for the Beast. Man, it got rated in a big bad way. Maybe next time? Well, let's hope. Boy, for the holidays, people love their Bond. And they love their physical media. But I can't quite say I blame them. Let's head out. So let me get this straight. Let me try to break it down here. So you're telling me that the first Walmart that usually has literally nothing to show whatsoever, they have James Bond to show off, all that No Time to Die love, but Best Buy has nothing? Holy shit. Talk about a crazy reversal, man, for such a very popular movie. The Walmart that usually has diddly shit has the James Bond goodness, and the Beast here, which usually is pretty good, has literally Zippo and nada and nothing. Man, what a crazy turn of events this is, okay? I always say that you never quite know what to expect on an out and about until you actually go into the stores, and this week, yeah, it proves it in a big bad way. I mean, who'd have thought that we saw one at a place where we barely see ever any physical media, and then nothing at one where we pretty much see some decent stuff? What universe am I living in, man? I am so confused. I really am, man. I don't know where to laugh or cry or both, man. Wow. I mean, I knew the movie was popular. I knew it was going to be one that people definitely wanted. Damn, man. Boy, when people want a movie, they definitely do. And honestly, they say physical media is dead. When I see literally no physical media copies out whatsoever of No Time to Die, everything is sold out like a motherfucker, it tells me that physical media is still popular. Well,
depending on the title, but it still sells. You just gotta have the right movie out there to really get them going, and apparently James Bond is one of them. Who'd have thunk it, man? Hell, we didn't even get any of the other new releases this week. Geez, well, we got a little bit of Krampus and maybe like an indie title. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. Wow. Let's hope that we get to see some James Bond love next week. But this week, The Beast, man, they got gutted in a big bad way, man. Apparently, when it comes to James Bond, they'll raid the shelves for anything and everything. Go figure. Oh, Lord. Well, it was a bust here, but at least we got to see some James Bond love elsewhere. When it comes to physical media love, nothing is ever truly guaranteed, especially when you're talking about in-store love. That's for damn sure. And The Beast this week, yeah, it proves it. Well, how about we head home and finish the video? And as I'm about to leave, guys, guess what's right here? There's one copy left of No Time to Die. I think somebody might have brought it back, or they found it lying somewhere in the junk heap. Who the hell knows, man? There's one left in the entire store, is No Time to Die. That is it. Damn. Well, this is bound to go fast. Really fast. I might as well show it off before somebody grabs it, and you know they definitely will. So where does this character go next? I am kind of curious to ask you this, because now that Daniel Craig is officially done with the Bond role, what do they do now exactly with this character? I mean, what I really loved about Daniel Craig, what I really loved about James Bond was that this version especially was very dark, very gritty, very action-packed. A character that's very much, in some ways, yes, he's a hero, but he's also like the anti-hero as well. He does things that maybe is moralistically not exactly what a James Bond would technically do, but in order to get the job done, he has to do some dark things in order to get the results that need to happen. I've always appreciated that, and I've appreciated where Daniel Craig's character has gone. We've seen many different iterations of Bond, to be fair, man. I mean, we've seen the more campy style, we've seen dark and gritty, we've seen, you know, the old school womanizer, we've seen every single type of Bond, but what happens next? I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing another James Bond iteration for quite a while. I think they're going to let this Daniel Craig version sort of settle a bit before we get another one, but I've heard so many names being thrown out there. I've heard Henry Cavill, I've heard Tom Hiddleston, I've heard Idris Elba, and they're all good actors, don't get me wrong, but I don't see them as Bond exactly. I don't see them as that character. Then again, nobody really saw Daniel Craig as Bond until he actually proved himself, so there is that too. I mean, I know we're not getting a female Bond because pretty much the producers said we're not doing a female Bond. There's just no way we're going to do that. It's not going to happen. Yeah, ixnay, that's just not a thing. Okay, fine, but where do you go? Do you go back to the campy style Bond? Do you go towards staying dark and gritty? I mean, Bond has always really changed with the times. That's what that character has always been about. And we live in a very dark and gritty world, and James Bond has always reflected that in every era that he's been a part of. So where do we go with James Bond next? Do we go with the more technology-savvy, gimmicky Bond? Do we stay more with a stripped-down Bond? Where exactly do we go here? And I actually thought to myself after watching No Time to Die, should they just let Bond rest? Should they let Bond go? Because Daniel Craig to me was so good, and I loved where they went with the character and the situations that I don't know if they could really ever replicate it again. But then again, this is James Bond. They're not going to let the character just die off, right? There's just too much money at stake. It's a brand at this point. It's not just a set of movies. It's literally an entity unto itself. And so they're never going to let it go. But I'm kind of curious as to where it goes next, how they're going to pick the next James Bond. And Bond
is always complicated, and there's always a lot going on with the characters, so it's never as simple and easy as you might think. But for me, I got to admit that unless they really do something dynamic the next time around, for me, this is it. I'm done. Daniel Craig is my last one that I'm diving into, man. I mean, I've loved Pierce, and I've loved a lot of these other great ones. Sean Connery, of course, Roger Moore, but I just don't know how much more you can really do with the character. But then again, never say never. They could always do something unique and very interesting to me. So, should this be the end of Bond? Should this be the goodbye forever? I don't know. But wherever we go next, it's got to be very interesting and very unique. Maybe it'll take styles from the gritty to the more, simple, to the more devil-may-care Bond. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can go here. Maybe there's a combination of all of them together to come together to make a very unique Bond that we've never experienced before. I think there's a lot of potential still within the franchise of Bond, but how do you spin that into an effective Bond post-Craig era? I'm not quite sure how you go about doing it. Good luck to the producers, because I wouldn't want to be them. The Daniel Craig run had its faults, yes, but I think overall, Daniel Craig proved to be a very worthy Bond, and that's a Bond that I would hate to see somebody follow in the footsteps of. He's definitely a classic, and the James Bond franchise is definitely worthy of continuing, but how do you do it in the modern day age? It's something that is not going to be easy to pull off, and without Craig, easier said than done. Very interesting indeed. I mean, you get a lot of special features here. You get a lot of great featurettes, designing Bond, being James Bond, the action, anatomy of a scene, global journey. I mean, you get a lot of really great stuff. James Bond, man. Let me tell you something. The classics never go out of style. Doesn't matter whether it's more kitschy, campy, serious, dark. James Bond is a classic. But at some point, franchises do have to end up resting for a while. You know what I'm saying? But how are they going to do this with Bond? It may never go out of style, but maybe at some point, the legacy lives on through the movies and not new iterations. What do you guys think? You gotta let me know, man. James Bond is classic, and there's a lot of actors who have portrayed him perfectly, and you gotta admit, Daniel Craig has been one of the better ones. Rest in peace, James Bond, for the time being. We'll meet again in one iteration or the next. So we definitely will, man. But at least we ended up seeing a little No Time to Die love on 4K. At least we did. We saw one thing towards the time that we were going to leave, but hey, we saw something, goddammit. Jesus Christ. Well, one thing is better than nothing. At least this week it is. Fine, we can finally leave now that I showed off James Bond. Finally. Let's head out. Ay, that was friggin' crazy, man. Holy cow. It is bonanzas in Best Buy, man. It is absolutely nutty, ridiculous. Oh, Lord, man. They are taking everything and everything. TVs, stereos, sound bars, video game systems, and apparently the physical media as well. Of course they were. Why wouldn't they, man? Well, we happened to see a little bit of James Bond love. Well, one copy. Jeez, that was put away randomly. And a little bit else. But other than that, not much else to speak of, guys. Not at all, man. Of course. When physical media is popular, it is very popular. And, well, James Bond proves that some franchises people really dig. Oh, they do, man. Oh, in a big bad way. Well, now that we've finally gotten out of Best Buy and shown off all the love, well, as much as I could find, guys, I guess now we can finally head home. All right, everybody. That'll do it for the Blu-ray and DVD out and about video this week. And man, talk about physical media craziness. My God, man. People definitely do dig their Bond. They definitely do, especially at Best Buy. Holy shit, man. Oh, that was bananas. God damn, dude. But You know, when there is a really popular title out there that people really want, they will get it, regardless of price, artwork, you name it. People really want certain physical media out there. So when somebody says to you, oh, physical media is dead, no one's buying movies anymore, you want to know what? I point them to certain things like Venom or Bond, where I'm like, you want to know what, man? There is a hunger out there for physical media. There is still a hunger out there for movies on the physical format. When people really want something, they really do. And so this is proof positive of that. I can't say it's proof positive all the time, but in certain instances, like this one, yeah, it kind of is, guys. Very, very unique, interesting indeed. Great physical media this week, as has been December in general. Just amazing overall, man. Hope you guys picked up something good. I'm sure you did. Definitely let me know. As far as I'm concerned, I got a few titles. Of course I did. And while I was at Target, I ended up deciding, you know what? I do love Daniel Craig. I do. So I had to pick it up. Oh, yes, baby. No Time to Die. The Blu-ray DVD Digital 3-disc collector's edition, baby. I picked it up. You want to know what, man? It's not a perfect Bond ending. It's not even a perfect Bond film in general. It's got its faults. But I gotta tell you, it's a fitting end for Daniel Craig's Bond. And honestly, it might have been really the only end for Daniel Craig's Bond. And I say that because, you know, yes, he went off and did sort of a happy ending-ish thing in Spectre, but if you really think about the character of Bond, Bond is always going to be a target. And that character is always going to be in danger one way or another, and his loved ones and people he cares about are always going to be factors in that. And at a certain point, you know, what does that character do? And what he decides to do, I think, is very noble, and I appreciate what they did as a final send-off for that character, man, especially for the Daniel Craig era. And, you know, when all is said and done, it's going to take us a long time to really look back at all of those Bond films and really say, what was his impact as James Bond? I think we're all going to have to wrestle with that within the next 10, 20, 30 years. But at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that he was a rock-solid Bond, which had some really fantastic movies, and he really made an impact on the action genre and on the character. And you can't say that every Bond really does that, but his did. So I had to pick it up. I mean, I own every Daniel Craig Bond movie except for Spectre. I was not really wanting to get Spectre, but now that I have No Time to Die, well, I kind of have to go back and get Spectre. So I will, probably sometime next year, I'll go back and get Spectre, hopefully with the slipcover. But I will go back and get Spectre at some point. But yeah, I really do dig Daniel Craig as James Bond, man. And he will, I think all things considered, will go down as probably one of my favorite Bonds of all time. He truly, honestly will. He's just that damn good, man. And I'm going to miss him. I really am going to miss him as Bond. And, you know, whoever comes in, whoever it may be, it's going to be hard to top Craig. It really is, man. So good luck to whoever's coming in. You got big shoes to fill, man. So I definitely wanted No Time to Die in the collection. A Bond well worthy to be remembered. That is for damn sure, guys. Damn sure indeed. Oh, yes, I did pick that up. I had to. Oh, what a great Bond, man. What a fantastic Bond. But that's not all. Of course, I picked up more, guys. While I was at Target, I also noticed something else. And I was looking at it, and I was looking at the Steelbook Love, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. This is that price? Oh my god, man, it's an amazing price. And I was like, oh man, I've got to pick this up. There was one copy left, and I'm filming, and I'm thinking, oh, somebody's going to take this. Thank God they didn't. And so I'm like, I got to get this, man. Well worthy to have in the collection. And that is none other than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Oh, yes, look at this, man. The Steelbook Love. Oh, yeah.
Woo! Loving that, man. Steve Martin, John Candy, John Hughes directed. Man, what a great goddamn movie. So, Target had this for $12.99. $12.99, that's an amazing deal. I think at first I saw it at Best Buy, it was like, I think like $16.99 or something like that. And it's like $4 cheaper at Target. So I'm like, of course. I don't have Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in the collection. I am such a John Hughes lover, and I don't have this movie in the collection. That is now being rectified, guys. That is for damn sure. I do really love this movie, man. It is one of the best John Hughes movies of all time. I love the chemistry between Steve Martin and John Candy. I love the great messaging in this movie about helping others. And yes, you always don't see eye to eye. And yes, some people may annoy you more than others, but that doesn't mean that you can't help them out. It doesn't mean that they don't have difficulties themselves and have a story worth telling, and that through all of the trials and tribulations you can still become friends with them, you can still understand them and give them a helping hand. And what a great goddamn movie this is, man. It really is a great holiday film, a great Thanksgiving film, and hell, you can even watch it during the Christmas season. It's just a really rock solid film in general, man. And John Hughes was such the master at these type of movies, man. I mean, his run as a director, as a writer, was one of the best runs I've ever seen from such a creative person like him. I mean, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Plane, Trains, and Automobiles. I mean, he even ended up, I think, writing National Lampoon's European Vacation, and he had done so many other great stuff. The man was such a great creative artist, creative force, and it's movies like this that really have stood the test of time for a reason, because they're just that damn good, man. They truly, honestly are, and this one is one of the best. Ain't gonna lie, it really is awesome, man. And the Steelbook is great. I mean, for $12.99, can you really beat it? You really honestly can, man. And this one, well, it's about time that I get more John Hughes love in the collection, especially Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. About damn time. And Steelbook love? Oh, I'll definitely take it. And the next title that I picked up, well, I got through a little Orbit DVD love. And when this got released, I was like, man, I haven't seen this film in a long time, but I think it's going to be worth revisiting. And that is none other than National Lampoon's Movie Madness. Oh, man. The first movie from National Lampoon since Animal House. Oh, man. Many of you probably don't know this movie. If you do, it's been a pretty damn long time since you've seen it. I mean, what a cast, man. I mean, Diane Lane, Candy Clark, Christopher Lloyd. Oh, man. Great, and many, many more. So, here's the deal. The movie, as far as like competing with other National Lampoon's movies, it's not as good, okay? I mean, let's be real. If you're following Animal House, this movie does not compare to Animal House. Animal House is so much better, and they had a lot of better movies since this film. But there's something about this that I do appreciate. It's very slapstick. It's kind of all over the place. It's sort of like these 3 or 4 unique stories that are kind of wrapped into one. It's kind of like this comedic, I would say, anthology in some way, or something like that. It's over the top. It's kind of wacky, but I do enjoy it for what it is. I realize that it's not great National Lampoons, and it will never really compete with the likes of Animal House or any of the vacation movies, Van Wilder, you name it. But I still think it's fun and entertaining for what it is, and I thought, man, I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna grab it, and I'm gonna still get it. Something to add to the Code Red collection, which definitely I appreciate. And even though not every National Lampoon's movie is created equal, trust me, there is a lot of straight-to-DVD National Lampoon's movies that are straight-up dog shit, okay? They are really bad. This is not that bad. It's a step down from the classic National Lampoon's movies, but it's still really fun, entertaining, wacky, ridiculous, and I do appreciate it. So when this got announced, I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this because I do really dig it. But it's been so long that I definitely am interested in the revisit, and so why not give it a go, man? Why not, indeed? National Lampoon's Movie Madness. If you never got into it and are looking for some little bit more of National Lampoon's love, doesn't hurt to check it out. Doesn't hurt, indeed, man. But that is not all. The last, and certainly not least, one that I got. Another one from Orbit DVD. Oh, and this one, boy, do I really want to revisit this film, and I really do dig it, man. As an old school fan, this is definitely one I wanted, and that is none other than Beavis and Butthead Do America. Oh my God, do I love this movie, man. Oh Lord, do I love this movie. Okay, look, when I was younger, I was watching MTV, man. I was an MTV junkie. And I think a lot of people my age, maybe a little bit older, can appreciate binging on MTV. You'd watch the music videos, you'd watch the VJs and you know, them interviewing the artists and everything. But one of the things that I craved when I was younger was Beavis and Butthead. And I would always stay up late, even though I tried not to do that with my mother and father. I tried to sneak around a little bit. Every time, once in a while, they caught me. But I kept it on the download the best I could, man, to watch Beavis and Butthead. And I just loved the comedy. Yeah, it was kind of childish and ridiculous, but I loved the animation. I loved the characters. And I loved what they would do with the segments. Especially they would watch a music video and they would comment on it. And something about that I always loved, man. And I always loved their commentary and how they would sort of make fun of the music video at the same time. I thought it was so cool. And I just love the world of Beavis and Butthead. And I love the world of Mike Judge created. And when they made a movie out of this, I was like, Beavis and Butthead? I was like, oh my God, man. But it was so good. It was so great, man. And I love the wacky adventures. I love how they meet various people and how they make fun of them and take the piss out of them, but yet take the piss out of themselves as well. And like, Con Julio! oh no. I'm dating myself, but I don't care, man, because this movie is so great, man. They were aping off of different films and making fun of it, like Easy Rider. I mean, it was so fun and ridiculous, and you know, it really is series like this that really made shows like South Park and Family Guy and all those other ones, because without a Beavis and Butthead, I don't think you would have those type of shows that you have now. You really have to go back and appreciate the Beavis and Buttheads of the world that really spawned all these other great ones that came after it. And Beavis and Butthead definitely did, man. And when Paramount announced that they were releasing a Blu-ray edition of Beavis and Butthead Do America, I'm like, oh my God, man. This is too awesome. I have to get this, dude. I so have to, and I'm so glad, man. I really do, man. I miss the old school days of Beavis and Butthead. I so do. And Mike Judge was just such a brilliant creator to come up with that concept. And kudos to MTV for embracing it. It really was something that I watched during my late night, something that I love to watch. And now having the movie is even cooler, man. I love the soundtrack here. I love the animation. I love the characters. It's just so cool and wacky and ridiculous, but it's pure nostalgia for me, and I definitely had to pick it up, man. If you have never experienced Beavis and Butthead, what the hell are you doing, man? Experience it, because it is so damn cool, man, and well worth every single mind-bending minute of Beavis and Butthead weirdness. You got to experience to appreciate it, and oh, man, it is showing my nostalgia love, but I don't care. It's Beavis and Butthead. They're that awesome. They really are, man. Oh, I had to get that, man. On top of all the other physical media goodness, Little Bond Love, Little John Hughes, National Lampoons, and Beavis and Butthead. Some really solid titles to add to the collection. And before I let you guys go, I wanted to talk about physical media this year. It has been one hell of a roller coaster for physical media, man. And I want to say how much I really have loved physical media this year. It has been one of the greatest years of physical media that I've seen in a really long time. And I know that we can talk about the difficulties with the stores, we can talk about sometimes not having the stock you really want to see, but 2021 to me was a really great bounce back year for physical media. I mean, I loved physical media in 2020. I thought there was so much wonderful releases in 2020, despite all of the pandemic stuff, despite all of the places that were closing down and all of the supply issues. We still got some really great physical media in 2020. Not as much as we wanted. Certainly, so many movies got pushed back into this year. And so, a lot of releases that we were hoping for last year didn't really come out. And a lot of things got held back. I understand that. So, I don't hate on 2020, but yes, it could have been a little bit better. But at the same time, it was still pretty solid for what it was. But 2021, man, it really came like a wind just bursting through, man. I mean, you have to remember that Hollywood literally released 2 years worth of movies in a year's time span. And within that time, all of this physical media is coming at us. The boutique labels have released some amazing stuff this year. Blue Underground, Scream Factory, Arrow, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, Criterion, 88 Films, Second Sight. There's been so many really great ones out there that have literally brought some really amazing releases. Partner labels that have done amazing stuff as well. New labels that are popping up also, like Error 4444. Amazing stuff, man, out there. Really, really amazing stuff out there in the ether. And to think we're in 2021. It's so weird to say that, but it really is true because there are so many obstacles in the way for physical media. If you really think about it, the idea that the stores aren't supplying as much physical media as they used to, the sales maybe not as plentiful as before, streaming is such this huge, gigantic giant that it's literally taken a huge chunk out of physical media. But somehow, some way, physical media has been able to survive and preserve itself in this really great way of almost being sort of like the anti-establishment format to be a part of, right? Because yeah, you could go with the masses and you could end up watching everything on streaming, and yeah, you could be that person to like, well, I don't need to own physical media anymore. What the hell is that all about? But I think the community has gotten so much stronger. I think the people who are very much into physical media are resolved to still being a part of it. And I truly feel like this year has shown not only how great physical media can be at times, but how important it is. Because in a world of streaming, in a world of censorship, where everything is getting censored to one degree or another, things are literally being cut out of TV episodes and movies. There's something about film. There's something about that you grew up on that you want to hold dear to yourself, that you want to actually appreciate, and you don't want that to be taken away from you. And that's where physical media has really shined in a lot of ways, especially this year. And I think it's shown an importance that maybe was there before, but was highlighted even more, man. And I really do feel like this year really showed that physical media, yes, there's still a lot of difficulties out there. Yes, the market is dwindling. It's more of a collector market, more niche than it's ever been before. But that doesn't mean that physical media can't survive. Of course it can survive. It's going to survive because of people like you out there, like people like me who really love the physical media, who really cherish it and appreciate it and know the value of it. And so I don't know what 2022 has in store. I have no idea where we go next. And a part of me kind of doesn't want to know. I like the surprise of it all.
But I can look back on 2021 and say, wherever we go from here, wherever we were before, 2021 really showed that physical media can still be strong, can still hold its own among the masses. And I think that myself and many others out there really do go out of our way to tell you guys how important this is. And that it's not just a gimmick, it's not just a fad, it's something that we really hold close to our hearts. It's something that we really care deeply about because it's something that we grew up on. It's something that we've made friends over and lifelong relationships, and we've literally become attached to it in a way that physical media and the people that we've grown to love because of it are like family to us. And to lose that is almost like losing family. And so that's why I cherish physical media as much as I do, because it's the moments that I've made, it's the friends that I've made, it's these lifelong and lasting times that I've really grown to really appreciate. And it's movies and it's experiences out there that I would have never had if it wasn't for physical media. So 2021 has shown a really great light on a format that always deserves more love, man. I mean, maybe it's going to get smaller. More labels might end up going under. There might be more doom and gloom ahead, guys. I'm not going to sit here and say it's happy times 100%. But what I can tell you is that physical media, in one way or another, is here. And it's here to stay in one way or another, however it goes about it. Physical media will stick around. Yes, it may not always be easy. Yeah, it may be a little tough to swallow at times, but anything that's worth keeping is worth fighting for. And physical media is something that I truly believe is worth it. Majorly, in a major, big, bad way. I know that you guys agree with me. Let me know what you think. I mean, do you think 2021 has been a great year for physical media, or do you think it has been a little bit of a downer? I really do think if you look back on this year, the releases from the boutique labels to the major studio stuff, it really has been a year worth celebrating for physical media in a big, bad way. You gotta let me know what you think. You gotta let me know what some of your favorite releases of 2021 have been, and where do you think 2022 and beyond will take us? You have to let me know, guys. Let me know your true and honest thoughts. I cannot wait. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out the other Blu-ray and DVD out and about videos that I have done. Movie reviews with my friends. Movie hunting like Dollar Tree Hunts, live streams, pickup videos, and much more. If you are a lover of movies and physical media, hit subscribe and become a part of the Film Fan Nation. I want to thank you guys so much for the wonderful support, giving me great comments and feedback, and really going out of your way to give support and love to the channel, because honestly, it's not easy doing these videos. It's very tough to put yourself out there and to edit among everything that I'm doing in my life. And the fact that you guys are willing to wait for the videos and still watch them, even though it may be late or, not exactly the same week, really means a lot to me. It really does, man. So thank you. I really do appreciate it so much, man. From the bottom of my heart, I really do. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely do it. Also, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every single time that I make a video. And keep updated with everything I'm doing through Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. FilmFan108, keep updated with everything I'm doing, plus special pictures and videos I do from time to time on social media as well. And if you want to send the channel any movie-related goodness, physical media, care packages, movie posters, whatever, you can do it. The P.O. Box is in the description below. It is not expected, but it is definitely appreciated. I know you guys have sent me some really wonderful things, and you guys have always said, hey, I kind of am interested to send you stuff. Where can I send it? Well, the P.O. Box is the place to be. So if you want to send us any love, you definitely can. But I guess that does it for the video, guys, and I will see you back next week for a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video. Take care, everybody, and remember, happy hunting.